Once again to my sunroom. Welcome to my sunroom from out here in Edgerton. Sorry that can't be with everybody live. Well, I am live with you, but face to face. So we are doing Timber Hill Winery Wine and Yoga. And I have in my background here Tuesday Booze Day. I was just taking inventory and looks like I need to make a stop at Timber Hill and stock up some more. So if you have a wine of choice or if you have a beverage of choice, you can have that nearby because we will be taking sips throughout our practice tonight because why not? We can. So we're going to get grounded. If you don't know me, my name's Elise, and we start every practice with getting grounded. So you don't have to sit with your legs crossed. You can have them stretched out. Doesn't matter how you're sitting. You can even be just joining me from a chair. I'm fine with that too. But we are going to check in with our bodies, see how we're doing before we begin our practice. So regardless of how you had your legs, I want you to focus on your posture. Sitting up nice and tall. Think about the crown of the head. Striving for the sky. We have a beautiful day today. Finally seeing some sunshine. And then regardless of how you have your legs, think about your pelvis being the base of support. Rooting all the way down to the earth. And everything in between the crown of the head and your pelvis, we're going to open up. Let your shoulders be broad. Let them be heavy though. Feel them relax. Start to release some of the tension that you might be carrying from your day's activities. I recommend closing your eyes. Just feel how your physical body is reacting to starting to relax. As we move along our practice tonight, I don't know what your body's experiencing, only you do. But as we go through our postures, our asanas, if you feel the need to open up a space a little bit more, add a few more breaths, please do so. I always encourage people to customize their practice to get out of it what you need, what you want. As we allow our bodies to continue to relax, we're going to bring in some focus of our breathing. That breath is going to come in through the nose, and I want you to notice the temperature of your surroundings, the texture of the air, if it's still feeling damp or moist like we had yesterday. And pick up any fragrances. Perhaps you're in a space where somebody is cooking or your meal has just been prepared. Slowing down each breath. As you take that inhale in, when you come to the top of the inhale, so you're going to fill up from the bottom all the way up. But before you start your exhale, have a little pause, a brief moment of stillness. I like to think about that breath lingering and then take it where it needs to go. You can do the same thing. Shoulders are tight or hips, or maybe it's something as inquisite as your wrists or your fingers. And slowing the exhale out. Again, a pause at the bottom. So the inhale, exhale, slow and deliberate. And not rushed. We have 2 of the 3 of our grounding aspects covered, the body and the breath. We'll go one more area, and that's what's happening up inside your head. The breath will help calm out, weed out, I should say, some of the unnecessary thoughts, slowing everything down. I'd like you also to check in with your mood. It might be a roller coaster ride for you for these last few weeks. That's okay. And also check with your energy level. Depending on what your routine has been, maybe you're feeling a little sluggish. I was texting a friend today asking how her days have been. She's a teacher, and she said she's busier than ever, working harder than ever. This is also new to teach remotely, and a lot of the kids don't know how to do it. So maybe your stress level is a little keyed up. Taking it all in. I'm going to take a few more deep breaths. Remember, it's okay to allow yourself the stillness. And let's start a gentle warm up. So again, this is to help release some tension that you might be carrying in the upper neck and upper back. So we'll drop our heads down toward our chest. And then bring the chin back in towards your throat. Give a curve to the back of the neck. Keeping that nice slow pace of your breath, we'll bring our face back up to neutral. Top the head up to the sky. And then you can tip the head back a little bit. We're going to give this of the throat, releasing the jaw and the tongue. And then back down to our level with the vision. We'll turn that vision or gaze over our shoulder, rotation. And if you have your legs crossed as you take your gaze over the other side, you can uncross, crisscross them the other way, just get into the other hip. I'm still thinking about each individual breath. And then we'll bring our gaze back to our centers. I'm gonna sit up really tall if you've slouched while we're warming up or grounding. And then we're gonna tip an ear to a shoulder for lateral flexion. And for those of you who have practiced with me before, you know that you can always add little extras on if you need them. That could be that opposite palm reaching to the ground. And we'll bring our heads back up to neutral, have a little pause. And then tip the ear to the other side. One of the other options for extras is a little opposing pressure of the head into the fingertips. And we're back up to the sky. And this is where we're going to roll the shoulders around. You can make them grand, you can make them small. Just want to see what your body feels like it needs tonight. And we'll change directions if you didn't already. And with their arms at our sides, palms to the sky. Let's take a deep breath. Arms up. We're going to reach up nice and tall. And then we're going to tip to one side. And then we'll come back up to the sky. And tip to the direction. And back up. So we're going to flow back and forth and back and forth. Allow your ribs to open up. Let that flexibility come within your center. So if you're noticing that your pelvis is following dramatically over to one side or the other, try to keep that opposite side anchored down. A couple more sways side to side. Come back up to the sky with those hands. Nice deep inhale breath. And then hands can go on your knees. Exhaling. We'll do some big body circles. Again, doesn't matter which way you started. We'll go both ways. Start to work out some of those kinks. Maybe you're someone who's at your home computer quite a bit. Maybe not giving yourself as many stand-up walk around breaks as you should. Let's go the other direction. Try to get all the planes of movement tonight, forward and backward and side to side, round and round. And if you happen to be within reach of your wine like I am, it's a good time for a little sip. Cheers. And back to sitting up tall. Take a deep breath. So we're going to roll everything down to constructive rest pose. Warm up cores. So we'll plant our feet on the ground, knees are bent. And then take your time as you roll down. Let your spine connect uninterrupted. Once you're down on the ground, adjust your feet so they're a comfortable distance from your hips. Maybe you have to adjust the hips by lifting them up. Move your body side to side a little bit. Get your shoulders anchored and spread. Take a couple deep breaths right here. And we'll start with those pelvic tilts. So we find the top portion of our pelvis and the lowest portion of our ribs, and we're going to bring those sections together. And we do that without a pushing of the back of the legs or a pushing of our bottoms. And then you can go the opposite direction, your low back. We'll have a little more space up to the sky. And we'll pull that pelvis back in and down. And rocking the other way. You go at your own pace, matching your breath, inhale, exhale with movement. Just notice if other body parts are trying to take over. If they are, tell them they'll wait their turn. We're going to go a couple more times. And you find the next time that you have your pelvis in by your low ribs, let's leave them there. And we're going to bring a knee into the chest. And we're going to take that opposite leg, just stretch it long, but it's going to hover off the ground. And that hovering leg is going to have a little flex to the foot for some extra energy. And let's take another deep breath. And then we're going to take that bent leg that's in by the chest and straighten it up to the sky. And it is going to go down. And as it goes down, we'll bring that other knee into the chest and let that opposite leg hover. Flex to the foot. Keeping that hip and rib connection going strong. Keep inhaling and exhaling, of course. All right, we're going to release that knee, stretch it up to the sky. Have it slowly descend as far as you can, and then bring that opposite knee back in. Relax your breath. Focus on the core connection. And let's straighten that leg up. Begin to lower. Bring that other knee in for the hug. Now, of course, anytime that you need to put that leg all the way down on the ground, you're welcome to do that. And up to the sky. Give it a trail down. With the switcheroo. Check in with your breath. Notice if you're harboring any tension someplace else to compensate. Stretch up. Start to lower. Give a switch. Hug it in. Take one more breath. Then we'll bring the other knee into the chest. So now both knees are hugged, side to side rocking. If it feels good, maybe you want to move the feet a little bit round and round, flapping them up and down. Then we're going to come to stillness if you're rocking. Still have a hug to your knees. We'll bring our upper body up. Make yourself into a small ball. Try to lengthen your neck though as much as you can. One more deep breath. And we'll open everything up. Check around you so you're not knocking anything over. Legs stretched long. Fingers over the head for morning stretch. Go ahead and move around, whatever feels good. Take another deep inhale. We'll come back to our constructed rest pose where there's feet are on the ground and knees are bent. We'll give ourselves that connection, hips and ribs. Take the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms are looking at each other. And then anchor those shoulders back down. We'll take the legs up to the sky to match. And opposite arm, opposite leg. So this is a portion of our dead bug, which we've done a few weeks ago. So opposite arm is going to go down. Opposite leg is going to go down. The other two are going to stay straight up to the sky. And then slow and controlled, we're going to come back up. We'll switch sides. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And just as slow and controlled, back up to the sky. Switching sides. And back up to the sky. I really like all the portions of dead bug because it provides midline stability. So midline is nose and sternum and pubic bone. It's core strength because we have hips and ribs and a good connection. And opposite sides of your brain have to communicate to make this positioning work, this motion work. And it's a great distraction because it's hard to think about a lot of other things when you're going through the motions. Each side a couple more times. Last time for each side. And you can bring both knees back into the chest for that hug and the side-to-side rock if you like it. And then morning stretch one more time. Nice deep breaths, fill up the belly. Maybe some movement to the fingers and the toes. Then we'll come around into tabletop, which is hands and knees. Anytime you need a beverage break, whether it be alcohol or not alcohol, feel free. All right, so from our hands and knees position, tabletop. Hands are positioned underneath their shoulders, knees under the hips. Make sure those shoulders have been rolled back. And tonight, I'm going to have you take the toes underneath. We'll start working on feet and toes, get them ready for barefoot season. All right, warming up the spine a little bit through our cat and cow. So right now we have a neutral spine, lengthening crown, head forward, and sits bones, tailbones back behind us. And then we can round the spine up to the sky, let the pelvis rock and the chin tuck in. Opposite direction, belly will come down, the shoulders away, let the pelvis rock, and then back up to the sky. So again, at your own pace with your own breath. Maybe you find a spot in your spine that needs one position to be held a little bit longer. Stay there and do it. Give it a couple breaths. If you want to incorporate upper body and arms more, go ahead and bend dramatically at the elbows. You can shake out your head a couple times if you need it. One more each direction. And we'll come back to our neutral spine. We're going to take the arms out, full range. Sit those hips back. Take a couple deep breaths right here. And then we're going to walk our bodies back so our heels and our bottoms begin to make contact. Now, for some of you, this might be a lot of pressure on the tops of the feet and the toes. So just keep your body weight shifted more towards your hands if that's the case. Otherwise, whatever is tolerable for you, go ahead and start sitting those bottoms back toward the heels. Maybe you can come all the way upright. Like I said, if not, keep yourself supported. We're going to take a couple deep breaths here. Just feel what's happening to the toes, arches of the feet, ankles. Take one more inhale. Now we're going to bring our bodies back down to the ground supported. We're going to take the feet, put the tops of the feet on the ground now. And again, same thing. Start sitting your bottoms back. Support yourself on your hands as much as you need to. If you can get your full body weight onto those heels, make sure you have the strong, stable core, shoulders are broad. Notice the reaction in the feet, how it feels. Remember, we're never going to a point of pain. Some of these positions might be fairly new, or you just haven't done them in a long time, so might be some discomfort. But you don't want to go to any point of pain. We'll take another breath. And walking the bodies forward. Give those toes their tuck underneath. Even think about making sure that pinky toe is grounded as well. And as you begin to sit back, do so to whatever you can tolerate. Focus on each breath, your posture. Bring bodies forward. We'll switch to feet, tops. Come on the ground. Pushing those sits bones as much as you can past the heels. And nice broad body. We'll take one more breath. And we'll take our bodies all the way forward. Take the toes under. We'll get ourselves ready for downward facing dog. Bottoms can go back toward the heels. Give a nice lengthening to the legs. Knees can be bent from this point still for a while. We haven't warmed them up much. Here's a chance to let those feet paddle out. Give some relief to the toes. Maybe roll the foot around a bit. It's fine to have a small bend to the knees at any point in time. And it's okay if your heels never touch. Give them the opportunity to want to do that. Good lengthening through the arms. Move your head around, shake it out a few times. Feel your shoulders broadening. We'll take a few more deep breaths in our downward facing dog. And you can look to the hands and make your gentle transition up. Top of your mats. Get your feet prepared. Take your time to roll up into our mountain pose. Your head should be the last thing that comes up. That allows our blood pressure to adjust. Get the shoulders squared off. When we're grounding here in mountain pose, it really is crucial to have your eyes closed. Taking away any visual distractions. Paying attention to all the other senses. Take another deep inhale breath. And eyes can open if they're closed still. Right, so to warm things up. So from our mountain pose, let's take a deep breath, arms skyward. And exhale down to the ground. Open up to a part way, nice long spine out of those hips. And we're going to fold back down. Open up again, deep breath. Exhaling down to the ground, fold. Our part way open. And our exhale back down. We're going to build on it a little bit. Open up, big breath. Exhale to the ground. I have to be careful I don't hit my ceiling fan. Open up part way. And as you come back down, we're coming into a chair pose. So hands come together at the heart. And we're sitting in a chair that's not there. Great for strengthening our legs. Check in with your feet though, that you're not gripping your mat with your toes. Shoulders are broad. Nice little push into the palms of our hand. Activates all those muscle groups through the upper body. We're going to take another breath. And then up to the sky. Exhale down to the ground. Our open part. And then we'll sink the hips. We'll let the hands come together. Pressing in. Uttanasana. Goes by a lot of things. Chair, fierce pose, lightning bolt. We'll take several more deep breaths. Just feel the heat starting to generate through those thighs and your bottoms. If you're pushing into the palms, shoulders should be warming up too. We'll take another breath and up to the sky. Exhale down to the ground. Open up part way. And back into our chair. Sink those hips. I'm going to take a couple more deep breaths here. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands down, lift the hips up to a nice forward fold. Open up part way. Exhale down. We're going to take a leg and step it back. Doesn't matter which way you go because we'll go both directions eventually. We're going to bring our arms up, high lunge. So we have our front knee bent, knees going the same direction as our toes. And it's stacked over our ankle. Bring the arms down to your sides. Take a deep breath. Inhale, press for that front leg so it lengthens long as you come up. And then exhale, arms back down. Inhale, breath, arms up, press. And exhale. Feel the strength in that back leg too, not just the front leg. Inhale, breath, up we go. Exhale. Two more. Here we go. Inhale, breath. And exhale. Challenges our balance a little bit too, doesn't it? Inhale, breath, up we go. Exhale to that bend front knee, arms up from the shoulders. So I'm not going to say left or right because some people may have a different leg forward than I do. The leg that you have forward, we're going to turn in the direction of that leg. Now watch what your shoulders do. We're going to turn through our upper body and be mindful of your arms are just going in front of you. Try to keep your arms in line out of your shoulders. Let that rotation occur through the upper body. And just respect your range of motion. Don't force anything. Take a couple more deep breaths. Come back to your center. Bring the arms to the sky. Fold them all the way down to the ground and step back to your downward facing dog and just feel that nice release through the legs. I'm betting one side feels very different than the other side right now. Catch up with your breathing. That increased our heart rate a little bit. Generate some heat throughout your bodies. Take a look to the top of the mat and walk on up. We find ourselves in our fold. We're going to open to our part way. We'll fold back down. Bring your arms back to the sky. Take that deep breath. Again, I have to watch my fan. Down to the ground. Exhale, fold. Open up part way. And as you fold back down, we're going to sink those hips. Bring the hands together in our chair. Press into the palms. Toes are lightweight. Cores are good and connected. Take another deep breath. And up to the sky we go. Inhale, breath. Exhale down, fold. Open up part way. Exhale, sink hips. Bring the hands open. Now if you want to build more heat than this, bring your arms up alongside your ears. You can always customize your practice as much as you like. I'll take another deep breath. And then up to the sky. Exhale, fold. Open up part way. Exhale, come into that chair one last time. Either hands at the heart or alongside the ears. Maybe you have a variation of your own that you really enjoy. Go for it. Take another deep breath here. Bring those arms down to the ground. Lengthen those hips up nice and long. Folding. Open up part way. So we're stepping back with that opposite leg that we had before in our high lunge. So get that situated first, making sure that opposite hip is pressing to the back, so it's not sticking out to the side. Once you have that grounding, connect your core, arms can come up to our high lunge. Get everything situated, and we can add the movement, arms down. Inhale, breath. Lengthen that leg, and exhale. So let your back leg be just as active as your front leg. So that means that that back heel is striving back. That back leg is lifting up to the sky as far as the knee goes without locking it or hyperextending. We have a couple more to go. Inhale, breath, press up. Exhale. And up we go. And exhale. So now we have that front leg bent. Remember, we have it stacked, going same direction as toes. You will rotate your body in the direction of that front thigh, keeping arms in line with shoulders. Respect that range of motion. Keep your breath steady. Embrace the shaky. I've got some shaking going on too. One more inhale. And we'll bring our bodies back to centers. Up to the sky. Down to the ground. Step back. Downward facing dog. Hopefully both legs feel a little more balanced. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And then we're bringing the body weight forward into a plank. So legs can be straight if you want your plank that way. You can have your knees down in plank. If the knees are down, you still have cores engaged. Hips and ribs still have that desire to come toward each other. Better to have your bottoms going up to the sky a little bit than it is to have them sagging down to protect our low back. We're going to take 2 more deep breaths here. One more. If you're wondering if my breaths are long, I hope so. Watching a documentary last night, we witnessed a woman that could hold her breath for over 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I think she said she could do it. And one more. Here we go. Upward with the back end, downward facing dog. And we'll take a look-see up to the top by our hands. Take a leg, lift it up back behind you in our 3 dog. And bring that leg forward and through to runner's lunge. And yep, it's okay to bring that leg forward with your hands. We're gonna take that back knee down to the ground. Still have those back toes curled under like we did earlier. And then arms to the sky. Take the arms down, lace them behind you. Bring those shoulder blades together. And then just begin to let your body come toward the front of your mat. You're going to find a long opening through that hip flexor, letting the heart begin to open, the sternum lifting. Take a couple deep breaths. The more you press on your toes behind you, the less pressure you have on that kneecap. That's another reason why we have our toes underneath. I'm going to take another breath here. And release those hands down to the ground. We'll give a lift. We'll step back, downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out if they think that they need them. And then back to stillness if you haven't already. We'll switch legs. So we'll start with the leg lifting up to the sky. Look to between the hands. Bring that leg forward and through. Scooch it up there with the hands if you need to. Back knee comes down. We'll still keep those toes curled. Arms skyward. And then back behind you. As you interlace, do it the awkward way. Our body's going to such habits and patterns all the time that Sometimes we really need to be conscientious of how we move. Have respect for differences one side of the body to the other. You might find that one side hip flexor is a whole lot tighter than the other. It's okay. Let it do its thing. I'll take a couple more deep breaths. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Release the hands down to the ground. As you lift up that back knee, we're stepping forward this time into fold. Let your head hang, shake it out a couple times. Yes is a nose. Notice the lengthening that's happening. If it's deep inside the calves or the hamstrings, or maybe all of it's working cooperatively all the way up. We're going to come open to part way. You can go ahead and bring your hands either to shins or your thighs. Let your head lift up. Blood pressure adjusts. And then we're going to fold back down. As you fold down, I want you to lift your heels up off the ground. And again, you can use your hands on the ground for support as much as you need to. I'm going to pause right here. Now, if you're in a good place tonight for balance and it's okay with the feet, start to bring yourself up and open. Thighs will try to come parallel to the ground. Bring your hands at the heart. Slow your breath. Take a couple more deep inhale, exhales. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Heels can come down to the ground, lift the hips up. Forward fold. Open up to a part way again, adjust that blood pressure. We're going to fold all the way back down. Roll ourselves up. Mountain pose. Take a little intermission here. Maybe you want to grab a drink, whether that be wine or water or whatever it is that you have. And from our mountain pose, we'll take a deep breath, arms skyward. Down to the ground, exhale with our fold. Open up part way. We're going to walk it back, downward facing dog. And then we're going to take one of our legs, take a generous step forward. And you want it forward enough that you can plant that heel all the way on the ground. So you might have to experiment a little bit with how far forward you stepped. Once you have that front foot and it can plant itself all the way down on the ground, I want you to do the same thing with that back leg. Make sure the heels can plant all the way firmly on the ground. Whatever leg you have forward, take that hip crease and make sure it's pushing back so your pelvis is squared off. This is a pretty intense fold. Both feet are going the same direction. I'm going to take a couple more deep breaths. You can support your hands on the ground as close to part way to your body that you need. I'll take one more deep inhale. And then you can give a softness to both legs. Walk the hands forward, stretch that leg back, downward facing dog. And let's switch legs. Take a generous step forward. You want enough that you can be able to plant that foot all the way down the ground. Then you can start to walk your body so that back foot can also be planted all the way on the ground. Square off your hips by taking that hip crease and pushing it back. Maybe you have to adjust the hands a little bit further forward or a little further back. I'll take a couple more deep breaths here. Lengthening the hamstrings. And we're going to soften the knees. Walk your hands just a little bit forward so that back foot can step up to meet the other foot. So now you have both feet even into a fold. We'll open up part way. You can support it yourself. Head higher than the heart. And let's bring it all the way down to the ground. We're going to stretch out our legs in front, come to staff pose. Get the fleshy part of your bottoms out of the way so you can feel those sits bones making their connection. We'll be mindful that the back of the legs are pressing down. We have a little bit of flex to the foot. Shoulders are open, of course. So we're getting into some rotation. We're going to take a leg and give it a bend. Bring that foot into the inside by your knee. So whatever knee that you have bent, you're going to take that opposite arm, reach across and find the outside edge of that foot. Keeping those sit bones firmly planted and your spine tall, let your legs straighten out. Now, if you find that your range of motion isn't going to allow for the hand to stay connected to the outside of the foot, just slide it up there, maybe to the calf, maybe even a little higher. Find that happy medium wherever you can reach. Shoulders are away from the ears. We're going to take that opposite arm now, palm toward the top of the hand, and then we're going to open the body, coming into rotation. So you can look behind you if you want. You can follow that gaze all the way to that back arm. Continue to let your body open in rotation. Let the leg lengthen as much as it can. That opposite leg's job, keep it grounded. We'll be taking 2 more breaths. And we're going to bring that arm back to the front. It's going to crisscross on top of that other arm. And either if you have it toward your shin, you keep it there. If you can find the instep, you're going to do that. Again, shoulders are relaxed. And then just play around with the range of motion of that leg. Possibly bringing it up a little higher. Notice just what's happening in your bodies. I'll take 1 more breath. So we're going to tell this leg doesn't weigh anything because we're going to let go of our leg. We're going to keep it right where it's at. Yeah, feel those cores engaged. Then you can let that leg start to drift on down. You feel that quadricep muscle firing. Once it's all the way down, go ahead and flap them around, bounce them about. All right, so we're back to our Dandasana, our staff pose. Posture is all adjusted. I'm going to do the other side. So it's a bend. Whatever knee you have bent, I'm going to take that opposite hand, find that outside edge, ankle, calf, whatever you need. Give it a stretch, nice lengthening. Engage your core right off the bat. Take that shoulder and relax. And we'll line up shoulders and give some rotation. Check out your surroundings, different point of view sometimes. Notice something maybe you didn't before. Nice deep breaths in our rotation. Take one more deep breath. And we'll bring that hand to the front. We'll cross over. Start to play around with range of motion. I changed my view a little bit here. There we go. And we're going to prepare ourselves for letting go. That leg doesn't weigh a thing. I'm going to engage the core, release, and then let that leg drift on down. All right, you can flap it around, bounce it a little bit. And then we're going to take our legs wide. Nice wide angle. So you're going to do this as wide as your legs will allow, but you can still have an upright posture. So if your legs are wide, but you have to be slouched like this, just bring those legs in. Again, legs are active, so they're pressing down. Toes and knees go in the same direction. We'll take a big inhale breath. And as you start your exhale, just start walking those fingers away from your body. Avoiding that slouch posture. So keep everything up nice and broad. Take a deep breath. And exhale, walk the fingers away a little bit more. Now remember, we're never forcing anything. Just letting gravity kind of take a hold of your upper body as you inhale, and the exhale releases a little bit more. Once you find your maximum range of motion, just pause there. See what happens. Let the inner thighs open. Let your head relax. Maybe even drop it down.
Visual concepts like your dowry, your daddy's phone. For love to find us above.
Remember, it's okay to have stillness in your lives. We don't have to be going all the time. We'll take two more deep inhale and exhales. And we'll start to walk back up nice and slow. You can use your hands if you need to bring those legs together. And then we'll roll down to our constructive rest pose where we started our practice. Give yourself that shimmy. Let your shoulders move away from the spine. You can check left and right so you have room. And then arms out from the shoulders with the palms to the ground. And a gentle tip of those knees, side to side. As your legs tip side to side, you should notice the different textures or possibly temperatures of the surface that you're laying on. Mine was changed dramatically when I went from my mat to the tile floor. So little things in a practice that you want to notice. And as you notice them during a practice, you will begin to notice them elsewhere as well. You will bring the knees back up. Give yourself a hug. So we didn't have any child poses tonight. This is an inverted child pose. Just let your breath calm. Your eyes can be closed. It's fine to have knees wide. Just like in regular child pose, it feels more comfortable with your belly. Take one more slow inhale. Exhale slowly out of your mouth. Arms can come to rest at your sides. Feet will come down to the ground. If you'd like to stay here, we're moving into our final pose of Shavasana. You can let your feet walk out a little bit and drop the knees into each other so they rest upon one another. Or you can stretch the legs long, all the way out. They'll flop open, moving the shoulders away from the spine. Maybe you have a layer that you prefer to put on before you're in complete Shavasana. Let your eyes close. Your breath will surrender, just as your body does. You don't have to think about posture or strength or balance or stability. I'm going to take a few more deep breaths and just reflect on how you feel. Hopefully something has changed or shifted from the moment that you got on to your surface, whether that be a mat, or perhaps you did practice visually from a chair, or wherever. And how you noticed your breath. And how your thoughts were focused on just what you needed and not what was demanded of you. You can move around a little bit. And whenever you're ready, turning to your side and propping yourself back up to a seated position. If you still have anything to drink like I do, you can bring it in front of you. We'll close our class in a traditional Timber Hill fashion way, as if we were in their space. So gathering up your beverage. Again, just notice. I feel the coolness of my glass. It has some condensation on it. I can smell the fragrance of my wine. And remind ourselves that we're just taking everything day by day, moment by moment, as we should every single day, not just during these circumstances. Mindful of everything that we do, every move that we make, every thought. Raising our glasses with a toast. Cheers to all of you until we can see each other face to face once again. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, everyone. I look forward to doing this again.